Welcome to New Mexico Restaurants Now, where we get you the inside scoop on the food scene across New Mexico. This episode is sponsored by the Hand Solution, providing high quality hand sanitizer at a competitive price. Stay tuned to the end to hear about their special offer. I'm Carol White, CEO of the New Mexico Restaurant Association, and our guest today is Mike White, the chef and owner of High Point Grill, also Rustico Italian Kitchen, and Bacon Jam Diner. And he is also the director of Kitchen Kids Inc. and the 505 Food and Bar Fights. We have a lot to talk about. Welcome.
That's right. Thank you for having me on. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. My fun, really. So let's talk about your restaurants first.
Sure.
Which one do you want to talk about first?
Well, I'm sitting inside of High Point Grill right now, so why not start there? You know, it's the extension of my original restaurant, The Point Grill, which was out in Mariposa in Rio Rancho. In 2015, we started that one out. And we were out there for 3 years, and we recently, I guess not recently, but almost about 2.5 years ago now, moved into West Albuquerque, just off Coors and Paseo del Norte, so it's like Coors and Irving area. And we've been here since then at this location, and it's kind of my flagship. I guess the flagship would have been The Point, but the continuation of the flagship concept here, and it's a really cool place. I'm just I'm happy that we've been able to keep our heads above water through all this, and I can't wait till we can pack this place up and really have some fun here.
It'll be fun. So tell me a little bit about the food. We can see a bit of the atmosphere, but you might give us a little bit more idea
Sure.
of what you're looking for.
So High Point Grill's kind of evolved into a chef-inspired gastropub. So it's really heavy into the local. We have about 30 taps of local beers here from Santa Fe. We have Marble and Bosque and all kinds of other good stuff all over the place. And then everything's made from scratch in-house. So it's that gastropub fare you come to expect, but with a bit of a gourmet twist. So we do have burgers, but they're made with Akiyushi beef, which is an import, Americanized Wagyu. It's Japanese brown cow, and it's just amazingly buttery, delicious, happy beef. It's just fantastic. The whole menu really just has a bit of a more upscale twist on the typical bar food, and it's really just a cool joint.
Very fun. Well. And just to mention, we are in the middle of COVID, so we're not packing the house right now, but you usually do pack the house, I assume.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Especially we have screens everywhere, so we have all the sporting events on. We show UFC fights and boxing matches and all kinds of stuff. And high top tables up front, like Gastropub, local bar feel, and in the back a little more intimate where we are right now. Got some bigger tables for families and stuff like that. And it's just it's a lovely atmosphere, lots of exposed brick and lots of wood, and it's just a very comforting New York style Italian almost undertone to it.
That's exciting. And also, I mean, the food sounds fabulous. I always said I want to come back as a Wagyu beef, right? Because you get massaged every day and get to drink beer all the time, right?
Life's great till the end, it's fantastic.
Yeah. So I can't wait to try the burger. I have not yet. So
Amazing.
tell me about your latest thing that you're doing now.
Well, I mean, I've got actually two things simultaneously that are my latest things, but I guess the one that fell on my lap actually most recently is called Bacon Jam. It's a diner, and it's in Edgewood, New Mexico. So it's just a really interesting place out there.
Right. And tell us, we're assuming that some of these folks have not been to New Mexico. So Edgewood is just on the other side of the mountain from Albuquerque.
Exactly. So it's just I guess it'd be just east of the of the mountains, I-40. It's I-40 exit 187, which is Edgewood just after. It's in the cluster of Tijeras, Moriarty, Cedar Crest. But yeah, it's a small town, and we have a diner out there now. It's a breakfast and lunch diner. It's kind of that country food I grew up with. I grew up in Virginia, and then I moved out here to New Mexico when I was 10. Still growing up, of course. And it was just that East Coast country food, that filling, stick to your ribs, smother it in gravy, and and then we have the New Mexico flair. So we're selling breakfast burritos, but we also have country fried steak and homemade biscuits and gravy, some awesome burgers out there as well. And because we've attached it to High Point Grill, we've brought High Point Grill's award-winning mac and cheeses out there as well. So out in Edgewood, we have a whole menu of house-made mac and cheeses with different gourmet toppings on there, like slow-cooked carne adobada, and filet beef and peppers and onions and stuff like that. It's really good stuff, and it's just an awesome joint. So once we get a little bit bigger, I think we'll start working some dinner hours and doing some specials weekly for the the locals. It's cool. All the place has so many locals out there that are repeat customers. It's almost where you can rely on them to come in and make a coffee for you in the morning, just because the timing. And so it's really neat. It's really neat. I'm excited. It's a new venture, and it's something that I think that can expand very quickly and efficiently through other cities. So I think once that stabilizes, we can look at cities and maybe duplicating that success and putting some bacon in other cities.
So, what is your customer's favorite food there?
At that place, the most popular, it's largely for breakfast burritos and just breakfast plates in general. We sell a lot of like enchilada breakfasts and country fried steak and eggs, and breakfast burritos. It's New Mexico, so that's the flagship item on the menu. But we do have all kinds of, just American classic on there too. We have French toast and pancakes and chicken and waffles, and that's all made in-house. Our house-made waffle batters. We do a little brown sugar bacon waffle batter. We do hand-done chicken tenders. And one of the cool things that we do at Bacon Jam is actually our bacon jam. When I acquired the restaurant, it didn't actually have a bacon jam in place. So what we did is we started testing out some stuff. I know, right? That was my first thought.
That was the name,
yeah. Let's do something about that. I played, and I very quickly came up with something that I loved, and we just used we made actually a jam from pork belly, fresh peaches, and bourbon.
Oh my God, that sounds wonderful.
It's so good. So it's a peach bourbon pork belly jam, and we use it for our BLTs. We use it it's something that you can put on toast or a pork chop. You know what I mean? It's a very versatile jam, and it's something that I'd like to maybe start jarring and trying to put like a
sounds like you definitely could. My mouth started watering when you gave me those ingredients. It was done.
Yeah, it was just a perfect match for those three.
Very good. And then and you have an Italian restaurant that you're starting.
And this is going to be the biggest one of all of them. So I started in a food truck 6 years ago. We went to the Point Grill in Mariposa, which is my first brick and mortar, on to High Point, which was my larger restaurant. Rustico Italian Kitchen by High Point is going to be, by a long shot, my biggest endeavor. It's in the Promenade Shopping Center. It's in the place that formerly used to be the Barley Room. Yeah. So it's 5200 Eubank, Promenade Shopping Center, formerly the Barley Room, but we are going to put just a beautiful Italian restaurant in there, and it's going to continue to serve as a full bar as well, as we just got approved for our liquor license. So we are very excited about that. But the cool thing is, anybody that's been to the Barley Room in the past, they remember a stage there in the corner. There used to be a stage for a lot of live music and stuff. We're going to be able to use that at night, but during the daytime, we're actually going to make fresh pasta in the dining room in front of all the guests. So you can be sitting there eating your dinner and look up and see me or somebody else just making fresh spaghetti by hand, or pulling fresh mozzarella in front of the diners, or something just exciting, and just to give you that extra fun feel, like that
entertainment
that extra
value, right?
And me being a kid at heart, always my favorite thing about Italian restaurants growing up, because as a kid I didn't care where my spaghetti came from. I just wanted to know, could I color on the table? And you can't. So we're going to cover all the tables in butcher paper and just let you go nuts and color and stuff like that. Draw us pictures, or we'll draw you pictures, either way. But it's going to be a really fun joint. It's really going to be fun. Stone-fired pizzas. I put a 10,000-pound stone and cast iron pizza oven in that kitchen not too long ago. So that's going to be really exciting. Really like more gourmet type pizzas. We're not necessarily going to be doing like the give me 2 large pepperonis and this and that. It's going to be a more chef-inspired. Like we have our fungi pizza, of course, but it has 6 different kinds of wild imported mushrooms in it. I'm so excited for that pizza. My favorite pizza I've ever had in my life and this, some of you guys are going to say ooh after I say this, but smoked salmon, capers, Gruyere cheese, and pickled red onions. I lost it when I had it. It was just the most delicious combination I've ever had. So it's just some really fun combinations. Of course, once that ends at about 10 p.m., because that's the normal dinner crowd, I'm hoping, and my ambition is for Rustico to become the industry hangout, because we're going to have a full bar. So we're going to be open till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. So I would love it very much if everyone in the association, everyone in the industry just got off work and came to Rustico and got that cocktail and got that snack or that pizza and just hung out with their fellow industry people, hung out with all the other bartenders and chefs and managers and vendors and distributors and people in the association. Just let's all hang out. It'll be like hanging out at a 505 food fight without the battle going on. So it'll just be a lot of friends and family late night, doing their thing.
Well, and I have to tell you, that is right around the corner from our office. We used to go to the barley room all the time. So
yes, Candela,
we will be there all the time. Yes.
Yeah, that's exciting. That's exciting. Very much. Yeah, I can't wait. We're definitely going to do some events there. Anyone that's followed my restaurants in the past knows I like to do a lot of ridiculous events. So we're definitely going to do some stuff there with the extra space. It has a huge patio out there that's not only expansive, but half of it is hard covered by the building itself. So we have these wind drops that can come down if we need it. And we have this hard covered patio. You can actually sit on the patio during a rainstorm and just watch the beautiful weather. And of course, if it's a sunny day, we have an extended patio that goes out into the sun, and you can sit out there and hang out in the night and look at the stars and just whatever the day offers us.
It is a gorgeous, really a really lovely setting, and the promenade is a nice shopping center as well.
Really
so
is.
Yeah, well, that's very exciting. I'm glad you're coming over to our side of the town, because I don't get out your way, that west side very
nobody
often.
likes to cross the river, right?
It's like that hard stop. I just don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So tell me, I know you do wonderful things with kids and cooking instruction classes for children.
Sure.
Tell me about that.
It's just one of the things I really, really enjoy. I'm very passionate about philanthropy and giving back in general. I have a personal belief that if you're in a position to help somebody, anybody, you should do so without reluctance or hesitation. And I really like to do that, especially for children. So what we've developed about 5 or 6 years ago was a program called the Kitchen Kids Incorporated. It was my little riff on the Kids Incorporated, which I watched growing up. It was Kids Incorporated and Mickey Mouse Club. So so we did the Kitchen Kids Incorporated. And what we do is we take local chefs all around New Mexico, and we bring them together with all abilities children, and we teach a cooking class, something that they can take home and apply to their families, and something that's special enough to where there's an accomplished task, but easy enough to where they can repeat it on their own. So we've had a lot of people. I couldn't possibly name all the chefs that have helped out in the Kitchen Kids, but there's been just so many great chefs that have helped out, and we pair them up, 3 or 4 students to a chef, and they get to work side by side with a professional chef, not only learning how to make the dish, but asking every question that could pop into a kid's mind. It's not just like, why did you want to be a chef? It's some of the most silly things. A lot of them want to know how many times we've cut ourselves or how many times we've burned ourselves. It's just fun little questions that kids think of that, hey, there's a chef in front of me, I can ask them. Or the parents are shouting from the side, I should say, because they get just as excited. They're over there taking notes on the recipes and stuff like that. But yeah, it's really cool. So we just do like a 4 or 5 week course at a time. We bring the same kids back, the same chefs back, and we teach different recipes. My favorite day, because again, I'm a big child, is pizza day. Because it's pizza and we get to get our hands dirty. We make the sauce on the stovetop from scratch, and we make the dough, but I don't give them utensils except for these. So we pour everything in the bowl and we get our hands dirty and messy, and we're making the dough and everything. And then we get to roll out, and every single student gets to make their own pizza with their own toppings. And by the end of the class, they're eating a pizza with their parents or guardians that they made themselves. They're like, hey, hey mom, come try this pizza that I just made, and to see a 6-year-old say that for the first time and their eyes light up, they're just like, I made this. I'm like, yeah, and it's delicious. You got a professional chef telling you that it's delicious, so
Right.
it really,
and
it's not
then
only
you can
fun.
take it home and feel confident making it again.
Yeah. Some of these kids left me our class with a job offer. I'm just saying. I was like, hey, you make biscuits better than some people I know. Okay, so maybe you need to work in my kitchen. But no, it's so fun. It's just so fun to see their faces and their reactions, and just knowing that they're taking something with them that they can apply in life. Or, even on the best day, that you're inspiring their future. Some of these kids go to these classes and like, I know what I want to do now. I want to be a chef, or I want to do this, or I want to cook, or I want to be a baker. That's probably one of the bigger ones, is kids leave the class like, I want to be a baker. Like, it's my biggest challenge. So you come work for me when you learn it all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll tell you this, it's kind of a trade secret, but Dion's, that is really how they became who they
Sure.
are today, is that they
Yeah.
did the kids, they brought the kids in and showed them the pizzas and had them eat pizza, and that is why they are who they are today.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Build a strong network and a strong base and staff from that too. So it's really cool. It's actually, I've personally pulled a couple of employees from some of my other endeavors, not just the kitchen kids yet, because they're not old enough, unfortunately.
Yeah, we got to grow them up a
also,
little bit.
Yeah. I also mentor at Atrisco Heritage High School, and we do for the Pro Start competitions every year. So we went out there, and I actually have a kid that was in high school that I was mentoring for the Pro Start for 2 years. And then once he graduated high school, I hired him as a dishwasher, and then he moved to prep, and he moved to line. Now he's actually going back to school to finish a culinary degree. And when he comes back, he's going to be a sous chef for me. And just keep on moving up. It's really exciting.
That's so fabulous. That's such a great success story. And as you know, the New Mexico Restaurant Association and our education foundation is the one that does all the Pro Start competition and supports the schools.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we try to support and encourage not just HIFE, right?
Yes, HIFE, Hospitality Industry Education Foundation.
Exactly. And we try to sponsor somebody every year at least, and try to get some scholarships in place for everybody. But yeah, it's just a cool program, and I'm really, really happy that you guys have that going, and I'm always happy to be a part of it.
Well, we appreciate your participation. Without chefs like you, we couldn't do what we do. So thank you so much for that. And having talked about that, tell me a little bit about the 505 food fights.
Oh gosh, yeah, this one's fun. Yeah, this one's fun. The 505 food fights, and actually now the 505 food and bar fights, it's expanded a little bit. So it's a bracket style culinary competition that was created years ago by some friends of mine in the industry. I've continued it, and grown it a little bit in a different direction, where we have a bunch of chefs that sign up for whatever the theme of the season is. Sometimes it's chef against a chef. Sometimes it's 2 versus 2. This upcoming season, we have a bartender and a chef versus a bartender and a chef. So one of the two can sink the team, even if the other one excels.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm getting a little sinister there. So what we do is you get a time limit, just like on Chop or Knife Fight or any of these cool shows that you've seen on TV before. They go head to head, they get 3 secret ingredients, and they get a time limit. And they have to produce X amount of dishes, usually 2 or 3, for the judges that get scored on creative use of the ingredients, the flavor of the plate, and the appearance. So just like most of the cooking shows, and winner advances until there's a champion. So, big congratulations to Chef Dominic Valenzuela of Taco 10. He's a 3-peat champion right now. And he's got a target on his back. So I think
he's going to be on the podcast next week. So that's perfect.
Fantastic. Yeah, you can mention to him. He's like, I think I have a lot of people mentioning that they're coming for his crown on the food fights. So yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Are you doing that now during COVID?
We are not, because 501c3s are not currently allowed to organize. I say with reluctance. But yes, once restrictions are lifted and 501c3s are allowed to organize again, then we will be immediately. We're already set up partially for this coming season. The change for this year is we've partnered with Chef Tristan Rogers and Frank Holloway over at Hollow Spirits, and we're going to team up with him, and they're going to host some of them. I'm going to host some of them at Rustico, because previously there weren't places that had full bars, so we had to kind of shut it down by 11, and that was kind of just the laws. But with the full bar, we're able to go for a later night and have a little bit more fun, and it'll just be really exciting. It's literally just my favorite thing. It's just my favorite thing. I mean, there's so many people, there's so many regulars at the food fights that it just becomes its own little family.
It's late at night, so I don't usually make it, but
I
I need to. Candela always tells me about it and tells me I need to. You need to go tonight.
Yeah, we don't get started until about 9:30. So yeah, it starts late, and then we can go pretty late. But it's such a blast, and it's an experience like no other, and it's so worth it. You know, you got to come to one of them at some point.
I will. I definitely will. And I do want to say that Chef Tristan is our Chef of the Year this year. You were Chef of the Year in 2018. Is that correct?
18.
And and so he's already been on the podcast.
Fantastic.
And we're trying to get some of the locals and folks that that know the food scene in New Mexico and make up the food scene in New Mexico.
Yeah.
You know what?
That's for sure.
We're running out of time, and I don't want to leave anything out. Is there anything that I haven't asked you or that we haven't talked about that you'd like to say?
Oh, let's see. Not off the top of my head. I just want people to, continue to support High Point, to go check out Bacon Jam for the first time, possibly out in Edgewood, and look forward to Rustico. I mean, I am aggressively hiring. For anybody that's watching and is in the industry, I am aggressively hiring right now for all 3 locations, for all positions. So I need some top quality players, and I guess that's the big thing right there. Is anyone that's ready to hustle and ready to work hard, let's talk. We got spots available.
Well, good. I wish you the absolute best, and I want to thank you for being on, and thank you for everything you're doing for the industry. It's you make the industry in New Mexico, and we are here for you. I also want to thank our sponsor, The Hand Solution, who provides high quality hand sanitizer and disinfectant at a competitive price. Order your NMRA restaurant kit today at thehandsolution.com/NMRA. And thank you all for tuning in to New Mexico Restaurants Now. You can watch this and other episodes on the New Mexico Restaurant Now YouTube channel, and you can subscribe to the audio podcast at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. Thank you all for being here.